established the archives last year, beginning of 2013. I've worked with the GLBT Historical Society for a few years, volunteering, working on different projects. And then with a few other things I've been doing in the different communities. I worked in the summer kind of as a leather archivist. And so I was noticing that, in general, it's one of the sub-communities that's always underrepresented or just invisible. So long story short, I decided to start my own. I have my background's in history and museum studies, so I think it was a good blend, and it was a fun project. It was something new. There was only one other person I knew that had done something like this back in the 90s, early 2000s. Les Wright had this Bear history project that he had done. He had written for local Bear magazines, done articles. I think he has like a history and sociology background. All of his stuff's at Cornell now, is where all of his manuscripts, professional and personal papers are. So I thought it'd be a great project to do. And it actually all came together really quickly. I was chit-chatting with some people on the board of the Bears of San Francisco, which is a community organization here. And they just said, hey, we're cleaning out our lockers, did you want to stop by? So just by chance, a few months into starting this, I got my first collection. So that was, I was three, 4 boxes of stuff. I finished processing that. And then this past March, the new owners of the Lone Star Saloon contacted me and said, they have 20-some years of stuff. And they bought the bar in 2009. The old owner from 1993 to 2009, there's all this stuff in the building, and they wanted to find a good home for it. So just by chance, I got that. That one was a huge collection. That was, I think, 10 boxes of posters, papers, photos. So it just been something that, I think would have been lost. I think the general umbrella, LGBTQ communities, it's underrepresented. There's a bit with leather, and the Bear stuff's on the fringe of that. So I just think without an institution that specifically does this kind of work, it would just be lost in the bigger communities.
Yeah. So when you say you process 2 boxes, what does that process entail?
So it entailed me weeding out some of the duplicates, kind of going through some of this stuff. The Bears of SF kept really good records. And most of their stuff, it was both like in the institutional records, like the board minutes, beneficiary back and forth things, and then there was stuff for IBR, which was International Bear Rendezvous. It was kind of their bear weekend every year from 95 to 2011, and that was President's Day weekend. So I had a lot of stuff with that. I sat on the board with them, so a lot of the stuff they've given me, I did a little exhibit for them back in February. I'm going to be doing another one this upcoming year, so it's something, in both doing the archive side and the museum side. So we are getting some visibility in the city, mainly in February because of that weekend.
And how far back does Bear history go? What are the first documentations of this subset existing?
I would say it's probably the mid to late 80s. I think a lot of current subcultures, a lot of organizations here grow out of the AIDS epidemic. Mm-hmm. So in the late 80s, you had a lot of people that just didn't fit into that model, and it grows out of a few different things. So it grew out of the leather community. It grew out of the girth and mirth, like the chub community, and all of this. So as everything kept splintering apart, there was that little bit too. Mainly 89 was a big year. The Lone Star Saloon opens on Howard, and that was more of like a leather biker bar. But then with the earthquake in 89, they shut down. They found a new place on Harrison, which it's been ever since. And it's kind of been evolving since then.
Do you hope to, is your focus national and international with this collection?
At the moment, it's more local. Anytime I travel, I went to visit a sister-in-law in London last year, and so I connected with the Brighton Bear group. So I have, a few international things. I have some national things, but just because it's starting out, it's mostly local. So most of the stuff I have is local based. I have maybe like a few things from LA, a few things from like Provincetown, because they have a big bear weekend in the summer. So I have a few things, but it's
Good, how are you? Very well. Would you like to see this museum?
it's SF specific, just centric, just because
Checking it out. Perfect.
I can't get too much further right now.
So what can people who are interested in getting involved with the Bear Archives do to contribute?
So right now, my main platform, I would say, is Facebook to show some of the newer collections I've been getting and what I've been doing and highlighting, some things. This past week, I think the last post I did was on the earthquake in San Francisco in '89. So, as I was saying, with the earthquake in '89, it destroyed the building that the Lone Star Saloon was in on Howard Street. About 10 months later, they opened up their current one on Harrison. And so from 1990 till I think 2009, they always had these earthquake anniversary parties. So, on Facebook, I highlighted some of the posters they had from those years. And it was always this huge, big event. I have a few posters, but mainly it's pins. Each year they had a little anniversary pin. So, those kind of things I share on Facebook. Also, I do have a website. The URL's nothing fancy. The link's on the Facebook page. And that really shows all the different collections I have. So you can go onto the collections page and see like the Ephemera collection, the Bears of San Francisco collection, the Lone Star collection. And with some of the other ones, like the Bears of SF and the Lone Star one, the Finding Aids on there, so you can see what's in each collection. You can kind of go through and see all of the photos, or what's in each photo box, and what's in the other boxes. Kind of get a sense of all of the different posters and those things. Also, I have a bit about like the last temporary exhibit I did last February. I'll, have something up this year when we do our next one, those kind of things.
I did think of one more. Why do you think it's important to preserve, learn, share, teach queer history in general, but also specific communities?
Would you like to see this museum?
So for the subset, I think it's not just, a big, broad that, push the envelope along, and the progress that it is, smaller groups that are doing these kind of things. And so it's not just, doing things, not just Belsendale, but, like the leather community is a lot of things that you wouldn't, really see. And, the Bears, I think, do a lot of fundraising. So a lot of the work that they do always really goes back to the community. I know the Bears of SF specifically, a lot of the work they do, it just is fundraising for other organizations. So usually we pick like 3-4 nonprofit organizations. So, it's a big slice of history that just no one would really know about. In general, likewise, it's something that, just like with the quiz app, this morning I was reading about the person, I forget the person's name, that flew the plane in Paris.
Alberto Santos
Yes.
Dumont.
Those kind of things,
Yeah.
just different things that they've done in history that, maybe it is a non-issue, but, I think it's just great to see that there are different contributions.
Yeah. Thank you.